Global Superstore 2016 dataset. Okay. So here you can see what we have on the dashboard is firstly we have two spark lines, overall sales trend and overall profit trend. Okay. So in this I have removed the headers from x-axis and y-axis. We are simply showing the trend. So this is time-based analysis. And here we have I have some analysis on profit of different countries. Basically I am displaying three sheets here. So what I have on the right is firstly I have this color legend of profit. Secondly we have these sheets, means this is a drop down parameter we have created. So here you can see if I select world map, we are seeing the world map here. If I select profit scatter, we are seeing the profit scatter and the third one. Okay, so when you can use this trick on your dashboard is when you have multiple sheets to display and you just want to keep one dashboard. You do not want multiple dashboards, right? And plus you do not want your dashboard to be clumsy, right? So what you can do, you can make a drop down like this using parameters, and then you can display one sheet at one time, right? So plus what else we have used here is instead of simply dropping the sheets over this dashboard, we have used these components, horizontal, vertical, text component. We can use blank component as well, right? Wherever we want to put some spacing, we can simply drop in the blank component, right? And plus you will also learn the concept of this tiled and floating and some layout options of padding in the dashboard here. Okay, so let's start with this. Okay, so I hope you can see this blank workbook now. So I'm going to connect to the global superstore dataset, right? So I'm going to drag in the orders sheet from here. Okay, next we want to work on the dashboarding techniques, right? But you can perform any analysis in this case. So what first I want to do is I want to see the profit state wise. Okay, so this is global superstore dataset. We have data of many countries in this. So firstly I'm going to drag in country. Okay, just a minute. Wait. You can see here we have the global superstore data set, right? So we have dragged in the orders sheet. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform the first analysis, which is uh, checking the profit country-wise or state-wise, right? So we've already dragged in the countries. And I'm going to drag in the state, right? So now this map is more dense. Next, I'm going to drag in the sales in size, right? Now we can see where the marks are larger. So this means the sales are more in these countries, states here, right? You can check out England in United Kingdom. Then we have California, New York, Texas, right? So here also we have Queensland, New South Wales, right? So next I'm going to select profit in color. Now you can see these marks are colored according to the profit. Now the most bigger mark and the darkest blue circle represent the maximum sales and maximum profit, and the smallest, and if the mark is in red color, so this means that it is the profit is negative, means loss. So next I'm going to do some formatting. Here I'm going to put the border on the marks. What else we can do is we can also drag in the city for more detail in the chart. Okay, let's leave it till state. So till here it's fine. So this is a first analysis. So I'm going to rename this sheet as world map. Okay, right. So here we have 29 unknown values. So we can either edit the location, so there can be some other names recognized by Tableau. We can go and get search for this and get the matching location. As you already know, we have discussed this in the class, how to fix this. For now, I'm going to simply filter this data, right? So first analysis is done, very simple one. In the second analysis, we are going to create a scatter plot. And in this, I want to show the distribution of profit versus sales for different customers, states, and cities. For that, I'm going to drag in the profit in the rows. And I'm going to drag in the sales in the columns. And here all the marks, all the values are aggregated, and we are showing just a single mark here. But we want more granularity in this. One thing we can do is we can uh, uncheck this aggregate measure from the analysis, but what I want is according to the customer. So as we add more dimensions to this chart, aggregation will become less and granularity will become more. So from here I'm going to dragging in the customer ID, and also I'm going to drag in the state. Here you can see in the tooltip, what we can see is a particular mark is representing customer ID, state also, and profit and sales value. Next, I'm going to drag in the city. Okay. Next is I want to color this chart according to the profit. So let's select the profit and put in the color. We have got blue and red. So red represent the negative profit, blue represent the positive profit, right? And this is the maximum that we have got. Next, I'm going to do some formatting on this chart. Firstly, I'm going to select circles, and then let's get a border of the marks like this. Right? So this is the scatter plot we have got. We have any doubt? Please write in the chat box. Okay. Right. So these were the simple analysis, and the third sheet, what I'm going to do, let's rename it first. I'm going to rename this as profit better. And in the third sheet, we will be comparing the sum of sales, average sales by customer, and average profit by customer for different countries. So listen to the statement once again. We want to calculate the sum of sales for different countries, and we want to compare that average sales by customer for different countries, and then average profit by customer for different countries as again, right? So this means that I want to draw three bars and we want to compare that, right? So one thing is sure, in the view we will just have the country, okay? And if I want to calculate average sales by customer and average profit by customer, so this means that customer will only be in the calculation, not in the view, right? So which means that we need to use LOD expressions. I'm using this so that you get a quick revision of that. Okay, I'll be using include LOD expression, level of detail expressions, that we have also discussed in the previous to previous live class, right? So here we have got the countries. Next, I'm going to select sales. So put in the columns. And next, what we want is we want average sales by customer. For that, I'm going to create a calculated field because this is not how we can do it here. So, so the name of the field will be average sales by customer. So here the expression will be include customer ID. You can choose customer name also, but customer ID will be unique. So we are using this colon calculate sum of sales. Okay, so what will happen is this include expression will calculate the sum of sales per customer. Like if one customer has placed 10 orders, this a particular person with ID customer ID 1001 has placed 10 orders. So all those 10 orders will be summed up for this customer. And then we will be calculating the average of the sales, right? So apply this and okay, and I'm gonna use this here. Okay, so I told you this will be average, but right now we are having sum, so we can change the value of the measure from here. Now we have got the average sales by customer, and this is the sum of sales for different countries. Okay, and the third one is we want to calculate average profit. For that also, we will be add a calculated field. Okay, so how to know what we should do? Means whether to display customer in the view or whether to display country in the view. So you have to read the questions very carefully, right? For CA, or tip for CA also, like if you're saying display country wise sales. Country wise sales means you have to display the sales according to country. Country has to be in the view if it's display. And if it's written calculate profit by customer, so that means that has to be in the calculation part. Okay, so here I'm going to write, firstly we need curly bracket, then include and customer ID. Mm. Sum of profit. This is done. Okay, and now I'm going to use it here in the columns, and then we are going to make it average like this. So this is done, but let's filter this data out and let's check for a particular market. Here you can see we have a dimension called market, so we can check this out for a particular market and see the sales. So this is fine. Okay, so next what I want to do is, so this is the profit, that's fine. These marks with the bars to the left of this line are the negative, right? The profit is negative, bars to the right is the positive, that's fine. But here where it is the average sales by customer, so this is the sales value, that's fine. The bar is representing the sales, but let's color this so that we get to know about the profit also on this chart. How we can do that? We need to go to this average sales mark here, and here I'm going to select the average profit by customer, which is the level of detail expression we have just created. So I'm going to put this in color. Now we can see this chart is colored according to the profit now, right? For different countries for a particular market. Okay, so if this chart is clear, is this clear or not? Please write. Okay, yes, good. So our sheets are ready. So I'm going to rename this sheet as sales and profit distribution of bar chart, right? So next is, let's create some more sheets. So I need two more sheets for the spark line. Okay, so that is be very simple. I'm simply going to drag in the order date first in the columns, and here we are going to select month and year for this. Next I'm going to select sales in the rows. We have got this trend, so this is the line chart we have got, but I do not want this header. We want to display this as a spark line. So let's remove this header, and what else we can do is we can change the color of the line. If we want the marks, we can do that, right? So this one's done. And also these lines, if we want to remove these grid lines, we can go to format here and the lines, and from these grid lines we can make it none. Now the sheet is clear, and I'm going to rename this as sales sparkline, right? Next we need a profit sparkline like this. For that I'm going to first select order date in the columns. And next I'm going to select profit in the rows, right? So I'm going to change it to black, and following the same step, remove the headers and remove the grid lines from the format, lines, grid lines, none. Where we have got clean sparkline for profit trend. Next, I'm going to create another sheet where we want to represent overall sales. So simply dragging in the sales here in the sheet will give us one single value for the sales, and I'm going to rename this as overall sales, and from here we can make it like this, overall sales. And for the next one, I'm going to dragging in the profit and rename this sheet to overall profit. Okay, so far it's done. It's simple. Okay, so let's bring our sheets onto the dashboard. So from here, I'm going to create a dashboard. Right. So we've got all the sheets here. Firstly, we need the overall sales versus overall profit. I want to place the overall sales here and sparkline here. For you have got all your sheets ready, so you should keep this in mind how you want to place your sheets. Right here, we will be placing our these three sheets of the analysis. Okay, for that we are going to use containers. Here you can see we have got horizontal container and vertical container. Horizontal container allows us to add components horizontally like this, right, with the proper layout. Okay, so suppose if I simply drag in the sales here, and if I drag in the overall profit here, let's suppose if I want to change the position of the component like this, sometimes what can happen if I'm dragging in these spark lines here also, so there can be distortion in the layout that we are creating. So if we use containers beforehand, we will be end up adding the components in a proper way. So firstly, going to use a horizontal container. So we have got a container. Next, we will drag in the overall sales sheet here in the container. Okay, now you can see this is adjusted here. And if I want to add more components here, so you need to select the component, bring it till this little bar, a gray bar on the right appears, and simply you have to drop that like this. I'm going to select the overall profit. So I have to just wait for this little bar to appear, this gray bar, and release it. Nextly, we need to go to select layout container. Once the container is selected, we just need to select distribute contents evenly. That's it. Now the contents are distributed evenly in this horizontal container, right? So I'm going to remove the header for this. So title, don't want it. Don't want title. So now I'll tell you how to use this text box. Text box can allow you to provide a header to the sheet. Here I'm going to write overall sales. We have got the overall sales here. Again, I'm going to select this text box and I just need to put it here. And this is overall profit. Make it 14, bold, change the color and justify it. Next, we can adjust the containers like this. Okay, so we have got two horizontal containers now. So please tell me if the concept of horizontal containers is clear. Any doubt? Anyone's having doubt? Okay. When you'll practice this by yourself, then you will get a strong hand on dealing with these containers, where to place. Yes. Okay. So next is we need two more sheets here for now, sales sparkline and profit sparkline. So first drag in the sales sparkline. Okay, I cannot simply, okay, when we're working with the container, here you can see this line appearing. I cannot simply drag in the sales uh, container here. So what will happen if I'm dragging in somewhere here? So it will be added in between, right? In the horizontal way. So this is not what we want. I want it to be somewhere like here and the another one to be here, not in between. For that, drag it, select the sales and we need to wait till this appears on our sheet, something like this. And then we have to drop it. So sales sparkline is there. Next, profit sparkline will follow the same step that we have done, that we have to wait for that particular area to appear. Next, we can adjust the components like this. And I'm going to remove the title for this because we have already got the title. Okay. So this work is done. Okay, basic formatting using horizontal components. In the next, we will use the vertical component. Okay, but for that, I cannot simply drag in my sheets like this, right? Because what I want to do is I want to display one sheet at one time onto the dashboard. For that, we need to follow three steps. Firstly, I need a parameter because the drop down was a parameter. I was selecting a particular string in the parameter due to which the sheet which was being displayed on the dashboard was changing, right? Right? So for that, we will create a parameter and then we will use a calculated field, and the value of that calculated field will be the parameter. Okay, and we'll use that parameter in the filter to filter out the sheet according to the value in the parameter. Whatever will be selected in the parameter, that will be displayed on the dashboard and others will be filtered out from the view onto the dashboard. Means three of the sheets will be present on the dashboard, but which sheets do we want to display, that will depend on the value in the parameter. Okay, so firstly create a parameter from here, and the name of the parameter will be select sheet, and here we will be using string here, and we will provide all those sheets. First one is world map, using world map here. Second is profit scatter. Third is sales profit. Okay, so this is done. Okay, So here we have got the parameter. Next, we need to create a calculated field so that we can put that calculated field in the filter. So from here, create a calculated field. And that will be simply our parameter, select sheet. That's it. The value of calculated field will be the value in the parameter. Value selected in the parameter will be in the calculated field. So apply this and OK. Next, we need to use this calculated field in the filter. And for this particular sheet, now you need to check this sheet where you are. Like right now, I'm in profit scatter. So I have to provide the name of the sheet, profit scatter, and then add this. Means we just want to display this particular sheet. Apply and OK. Next, I'm going to select rotate sheet and I'm gonna put this in filter on another sheet which is world map. You can check here, select from the list contains world map. Prashant Raj, can you see the screen? You have written this in the chat. Just a minute. No, it is visible. You check out the setting. The screen is presented to all. Okay. So from where have you left? We first created the parameter, select a sheet. Let me first show you the parameter. So this parameter is having 3 string values, world map, profit scatter, and sales profit according to the sheets, right? And then we have created a calculated field, rotate sheet. And the value, the contents of this calculated field is simply the parameter. So what will happen? What will be selected from that parameter will be the value in the calculated field. Then we put this in here in the filters and we want to filter out. What we want to keep here is on the display is world map only. And add this in the list, right? And apply this. So here on the sheet, we have got the world map. Now you can see this is not gone because when you edit this particular filter, you'll check that in by default in the select from list world map has been selected, right? So that's why it's only displaying this one, not the other sheet. Apply. Okay, because this is being displayed after the filter. This is not displayed because that one is selected right now. Next, the third one, we will do the same steps for the third one. Select that calculated field and put in the filter. From the custom value list, we will write the name of this sheet. And then apply this, right? So now we have got all the filters ready on the 3 sheets. We simply need to bring these 3 sheets onto the dashboard. So let's do that. So this was the dashboard that we have created so far. So these are the horizontal components. Now I need vertical component. Right? So select this world map. Okay, first I'm going to select this vertical container and put it here. Okay, so we need to put the container here. So here we have got the vertical container. What will happen in this vertical container when I'll be adding the sheets, these will be added it vertically like this. The first sheet will be here, second will be here, the third will be here. So let's first drag in the world map. Next we drag in the profit scatter. Okay, so when we are adding the sheets here, we need to see this little bar, gray bar appearing. Profit scatter is there. Next is the sales profit. Here. Next, I'm going to bring in the parameter. Okay. Also, I'm going to remove these headers, titles. Now we can see just one sheet here. We can adjust the size of the sheet. What else we can do is we can change the padding of these charts. I'm selecting a particular container here, going to layout. And from here, we can increase the padding. As you see, we increase the padding. The position of the chart is changing, and from the bottom like this. Similarly, all sides equal, right? So here we can see when we select a particular, okay, just a minute. Okay. Okay, so here we can see when I select world map is appearing. Otherwise, sales profit is appearing. Yeah, world map filter was missing. And next, profit scatter is appearing, right? So this is fine. But okay, can we remove this one? This is not required. Okay, now you can see is here on these legends. So these legends are becoming null. Here you can see the color. There is no color legend according to this chart, right? So that's fine. The sheets are changing, but sometimes we need to check the color legends as well for the values, because in all three sheets we have got the profit in common. Like, we are using profit in here also, so we want only one legend, and we want that legend to change according to when profit changes, the value range of the profit changes in these sheets. So this thing is done, but we need to fix that. Okay, so let's fix these legends. In order to fix this, we need to create one more sheet. So I'm creating a sheet, and the name of the sheet will be fix legend. Okay, so idea here is, okay, so idea here is, what we will do is we will bring the dimensions from the different sheets. We will bring the dimension from world map. See what are the dimensions that are in the world map is country and state. What happens is profit is being calculated according to these two dimensions, according to country and state. Okay, and on profit scatter, profit is calculated according to these three dimensions: customer ID, state, and city. And for sales profit, we have country. That's already in the calculation. That doesn't matter, but customer ID is in the calculation. So here in the rows, profit is displayed according to country. So we will bring these dimensions and we will add up the profit value for that. And we will be displaying the profit for those dimensions as the sheet changes. And we will link that with the parameter. Okay. So let's do that. For that, I'm going to create a calculated field here. So this is for color legend. We are using case. So case means, so this case will take up the value from the parameter, right? We have three values in the parameters. I think I have already displayed the parameter here somewhere. No? Okay, so you know it from the dashboard. Here we can see we have got the three values in the parameter. So the case will be according to these values. So firstly, the case will be parameter. Okay. When it's world map, then do what? Then add in the dimensions which are in the world map. That is country and state. This will concatenate. Next is when we have profit scatter, then let's go to the profit scatter sheet, customer ID, state, and city. And when it is sales profit, then it is country, and then end. So we have got one calculated field, color legend. So let's go back to that sheet. Okay, next I'm going to drag in this color legend in the rows. Now we can see here we have got the customer ID, country, and state and city. Why? Because in the dashboard, profit scatter is selected in the parameter. Okay, so next I'm going to drag in the profit in color so that we get the color of the profit here. Okay, now you can see here we have got the color legend according to that, and now we have the color for these values, the color of the profit. So let's give a quick look if it changes or not. So I'm going to select the parameter from here, select sheet. Right now profit scatter is selected. If I select world map, now what were the dimensions in the world map? Country and state. So country and state is selected and color legend has changed according to that. And if we select sales profit, we were having just country. So country is selected and the color profit is changed. Color legend is changed according to that. From here you can see. So this is very useful tip. Now we have to bring this sheet onto the dashboard, but we cannot simply do that. First, we need to remove these. So this is fine. Now we are no more using the color legends of the original sheets, and we are just using color legend of one sheet. And from this sheet also, I just need the color legend. I do not want this. We do not want this information. We just want color legend. But if I want to use this color legend, if I want to use this color legend, I need to bring the sheet also. So we will use a quick tip over there on the dashboard. So that will also be helpful for you for some other scenarios. Okay. So firstly, I am selecting this fixed color legend and I'm going to put it somewhere here. Now we can see this is visible, right? So right now this particular sheet is tiled. Okay, so here you can see we have got the tiled and floating. The meaning of tiled is this particular sheet is taking space onto the dashboard, means this is tiled, this has taken a space, this one's also tiled, all these sheets are tiled. But let's convert this to floating. If I make it floating, it's not taking any space, extra space on the dashboard, means it can be put anywhere over some other sheet like this, right? If it's floating. So after this, I'm going to make it very small like this. And now we can put it somewhere here. And it's gone. Means the sheet is still present on the dashboard and no longer visible. You can put it anywhere at any smaller area if you want to hide any sheet like this, right? So let's change it. World map. So now the color legend is changing according to the map. Profit scatter like this. So was this helpful? You got to know about the difference between horizontal components and vertical components, the difference between tiled and floating objects, text, and doing some formatting on the dashboard. Any doubts in this, please ask. Good. Okay, so the average sales according to customer, the meaning of that is, okay, so here for the countries, we have different orders. I will provide you recording by today. Okay. Okay, so what I was saying, like suppose I have 1,000 records for a particular country of sales, right? Now those 1,000 records, those 1,000 orders will be uh, is placed by multiple customers. Not only a single customer places 1,000 orders, right? So multiple customers place multiple orders, right? In this bar chart here, the sales is calculated by only considering the orders. Means summing up all the 1,000 orders for Argentina, no matter which customer has placed those orders, right? Simply the sum of sales, the total sales. But here, what we are doing is we are considering the custom orders placed by different customers, right? Then sum those orders up, and then the average of that means one customer in Argentina places the sales of 57,512 on average. On average here. So this is the sum of sales by of all the orders. Here also we have considered for this country. Here you can see for Barbados the sales is this much. So this is on the average. You need to check the first one, average sales by customer. Okay, I cannot just move my cursor over the tooltip. You need to check the second one. Here you need to check average sales by customer. It's 551.9. Average sales by customer means on average one customer place places an order of 551.9. Okay, so the last one sales is represented here, the last sales 7174, that's the total sales in Barbados. So the average sales placed by the customers is 551, and this is the profit 169.2, average profit by customers. I hope this is clear. If we take sum, that will be the same. No, even if I take sum instead of average, in this case you are saying, so that we have already done, we have already taken the sum of sales by the customer according to the customer ID. So then we are taking the average of all. Then that will not be of any meaning if we again take the sum of that. I just want to need in that particular country how much a particular customer is making up in the sales, how much on average basis. Okay, we have considered the average of that. Yes, so there is a different, you can see the value in sum of sales. Here in the value of some sales is much larger than compared to the average. So average sales is 340 in this case, and sum is 57,000. This is a total sales by all the customer. This is on average basis. Okay, how much one customer is contributing to the sale, and in that we have considered the average for that particular country, and this is a profit. I hope this is clear. Okay. So next, so right now I have created a vertical component here, and in that I have used the parameter, and here I've put in the color legend. Okay, now you can see here. So this one's looking a bit clumsy. So this has taken all the space in here, and this one has also taken all the space. So I'm going to select this blank container and I'm going to put it in between. So we have selected a blank container, put it in between, and then we can extend the blank container to adjust the size of the parameter and legend like this. Oops, just a minute. Okay, so what has happened is we have by mistake added a new vertical component in the existing vertical component. So I'm going to remove this first. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you what we have done. So we need to take care of that when we are creating new components. Okay, whether we want that component inside a particular component or we want that component somewhere in the dashboard itself. And this is how it works. Any doubts in this? Please write in the chat box. Okay, good. One more thing I wanted to explain, creating stories. Is that clear to you how to create stories? Okay, I'll repeat it once again because, okay, yes, sure, I'll tell it once again. Okay, so this is the dashboard that's done. We will use this dashboard to create the stories because I won't be able to use the sheets because at one time only one sheet is visible. So let's use this dashboard here. So here I'm going to create the story from here, from the third option. Just a minute. Okay, so here I'm dragging in the dashboard. Okay, now what can story help us? If you're using dashboards, it can help us select one particular element in the dashboard. Like at one time, I can display a sheet, this particular sheet on the dashboard, and here we can write the captions. So right now I'm writing less text, but you can explain all your analysis like this. Okay, so the major highlights we can. Okay, so I can select a particular point and I can even annotate. Okay, like this, and we can place it like this here in order to point out the highlights so that the person who is checking out. Actually, what we are doing is we are doing this on a particular sheet. And if I need to do that on another sheet, for that I will need to create another story. For now, we are doing this here only. Okay, in the story. So here we have selected the one sheet. Okay, next this. Okay, you can add on more highlights on this. Next, to create another story, point blank. So that's updated. Okay, so this is creating story points, more points in one story. If we create another story, that will be I can select another dashboard for that or other sheets for that. Okay, you need to know if you are representing your one analysis, one story, and multiple story points. For another analysis, another story, and multiple story points. And for this, suppose I again select in the dashboard. Now you can see during the first story point, I had selected map. Now I can select sales profit. So we can annotate for this. Okay, so I'm just going to write the heading or your analysis. You can write that. And in the next story point, we can drag in again that dashboard. And this time I can select profit scatter. So you can write your analysis and your highlights. Next, another story point. Here we can drag in your sheets also. In the stories, you can drag in your dashboards and your sheets. So suppose I drag in this trend, sales trend. So we can mention overall sales in global superstore data set trend, right? So once this is done, we can save this and this will be the story. And we can also display it from here. So this is the first one, annotations, analysis, second one, third one, and the last one. So for this dashboard, we are only able to create something like this. When we have more sheets, more dashboard, we can select a particular, okay, suppose here if we use filter in the dashboard, we can filter one particular country out to see how rest of the dashboard changes, and then we can create multiple stories for different countries. For this particular country, this is what we have checked like this. Sai Ganesh, it's clear to you what you asked? Anyone's having doubt? What are you saying? It's changing in the bar graphs? What's changing? You can speak. Yes, actually, this is not what we want. If you wanted to do it like this, we can sort our chart first and then we can highlight. We just want to check that for a particular country. Okay, so for this scenario, what you can do is if you're saying for selecting the highest or lowest, so we can what we can have in that case is we can have world map over there used as a filter, and then we can select 2 to 3 countries from there, then we can display it, or you can also check it from here and annotate it over there also, or you can arrange first this in ascending or descending order, then you can highlight the sales minimum and maximum for that. Okay, yes, right. So now anyone's having doubt in creating stories, story points? Okay. Yes. Next is saving your file in .twbx format. It's very, very important that you save file in that format. Once we are done with the analysis, you have to save your file as .twbx, right? So this means that we are saving the packaged workbook. Data set, all the connections what you have created will be saved in the workbook when you are sending this file over the mail to someone, right? Or in the CA sheets, whenever you will be sending your Tableau workbooks, you need to use this format, right? So for that, even if you change the data set location or your data set is lost due to some problem, if you have the workbook, so there will not be any problem checking your analysis, right? So I'll give you assignment on the basis of the topic that we have discussed today and the solutions of previous assignments.